Bum, 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 bum. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1497. Yes, I did write the right number down. The ups and downs of pets. So today is September the 6th. It is also 6 years since Gus left us and crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And for those that don't know Gus, he was part Bernese Mountain Dog, part German Shepherd, and part something else or else's. We're not sure. We just know there was definitely Bernese and Shepherd in him. We're thinking there might have been a little Great Dane in him, maybe some Chow. We're not really sure. Although there are times when he would look at you and his whole face would be a complete Chow expression with the way his fur was and everything. So, and he also had purple dots on his tongue as well. But he was the dog with 1,001 faces. You could have an entire conversation with the dog just based on his facial expressions. And our favorite activity to do was if Brad and I were sitting next to each other and Gus was kind of sitting between us but looking back at us, is that we would take turns in talking, because Gus had this black face with these two tanned eyebrows, and whoever was talking, that eyebrow would go up. And so we had him doing this with his eyebrows by talking backwards and forwards and taking turns. And he would just sit there and raise these eyebrows and stuff and cock his head every now and again. And it kept us highly entertained. But I thought that would be, and I asked my friend Kathy, I says, I'm about to go live and I don't know what I'm talking about tonight. And she goes, we're about talking about pets. And I thought, that's perfect, since it is the 6-year anniversary of Gus's passing. And so he was a good dog. He was like 114 pounds. He was a big boy. But he was more Brad's dog than my dog. And so when he went 18 days before Brad, yes, we're coming up on that anniversary as well. It was really heartbreaking because Brad couldn't be there to be with us, and it was just myself, the vet, and Gus at home. So we were comfortable and telling all these funny stories about him. And the vet left knowing more about that dog than she probably knew about any dog that she had to assist across the Rainbow Bridge. But yeah, I still remember that day like it was yesterday, coming out in that morning, and Gus just had that look on his face that no owner ever wants to see, that look that just says, please let me go. I'm tired. I've had enough. Just please let me go. And so I was thinking about the ups and downs of pets. That's the downside of it, because, when pets leave, it's almost like, I don't know, I've never lost a kid or a parent, but I have lost a husband. And it was very similar to that. You're losing a member of the family. I've lost mother-in-law, I've lost grandparents, but it's just like, an animal, a pet passing is like a member of the family. And then I have this one that's over here. She gets her stitches out tomorrow. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. But the cool part is that I have been stressing out about her, like trying to keep her calm, trying to keep her rested, not running around, making her walk instead of run. But this dog doesn't know how to walk. She does this little trot thing, which is slightly faster than a walk, but not quite a run. And then today she was trying to play around and do some zoomies, and it tired her out so much because they actually have her on Rimadyl as her pain relief. And if people don't know what Rimadyl is, it's what they give kids for ADHD. And so she's been doped up on that for the last 2 weeks, and she gets a dose tonight, and then she gets 2 doses tomorrow. So Friday I should have a dog that's almost back to normal, but I know by Saturday she will be running around this place like crazy, and she'll be back to wanting to play with her toys. She has shown no interest in her toys in the last 2 weeks. Which is probably just as well that she's back to her normal self on Saturday, because we have some bark boxes to open. I walked into my pantry and there's 3 sitting there and there's one on the shelf. And I'm like, oh, we have a few. Oh, actually, was there 3 or 4 in that pile? I know we've got a big one, and then we've got 3 or 4 smaller ones. So there'll be some buck boxes getting open over the next few days, but she's deserved them. And getting her stitches out is also going to be good, because it means she likes to, at bedtime, she's been playing games, because I go to put a sock on her leg to protect the leg so she wouldn't go after the stitches. And then I wrap tape around the top and the bottom of it. And that keeps her leg protected at night so she can't get at the stitches. But now she's decided, the last few nights, she's decided it's a game So she sees me go to the bed and I tell her to get up on the bed so I can put the sock on her leg. And she just looks at me, turns around and takes off down the hallway and around the corner. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not chasing you. And so I just go about my normal routine of getting into bed and everything else. Whenever I get up, my hands are empty because I've already got the sock and the tape tucked into the bed. So I have to be sly and sneaky, and she's got to try and figure out how I'm going to get the sock on her leg if I have nothing in my hands. And she won't get up onto her bed until I get onto my side of the bed. So we've had those little games too. But she seems to think it's fun and games. So it's going to be interesting when tomorrow night that won't happen. That'll be interesting. So I just have to do that for one more night. And I'm like, thank goodness for that. So there are times that we stress. So that's the downside, is that there are times that we do stress about our animals. They're fine. They're doing okay. And you're stressing out about, oh my gosh, I've got to keep her off the stitches. I don't want to put the cone on. Is she going to be good and not go after the stitches? And you're constantly monitoring her. What's she doing? Is she going after the stitches? Nope, she's not going after the stitches. We're good. Is she in the same room as me? No, where is she? What is she doing? So there's been that going on the last 2 weeks because I really didn't want to put the cone back on it because she is so miserable with that cone on. And every time she goes to walk around the house, she's used to walking on one half of the tiles when her and I are walking together, because usually she'll walk with me, beside me. And so, of course, so she's into that groove of where she walks, that path that she walks. But the cone, the edge of it would hit like the side of the wall or hit a cabinet, and then she would freeze. She would just stand there and freeze. She didn't know what to do. And so I'd tell her, well, you got to back up, and she'll catch it on the edge of a box and she'll just stop there and freeze. And she'll just stand there, and I'm walking away, coming after me. And I turn around and she's just standing there like frozen to the spot because this cone is rested up against a wall or a box or a cabinet, and she doesn't know what to do. She hasn't figured out that she can back up, move over a little bit and keep walking. So I've had to go up and guide her around those obstacles and things. So getting the cone off her was really good. And the fact that she has been so good about not going after her stitches and everything else, I'm very proud of her for that. So let's look at some of the other things that we can do with our critters, whether they're four-legged or two-legged, feathered or scaly. I'm not sure about scaly ones, but I know there's some people out there that like them, and that's okay. I'm not a scaly pet person. I like fur. Furry, feathery, or scaly. They're part of our lives. And some people I know can't be around animals with fur on them because of allergies and things. And so having something like, I don't know, like lizards or iguanas, snakes even, they've got those scaly things where they don't have to worry about the allergy thing. So it's all down to personal preference, and also whether you're allergic or not. And I know you get the hypoallergenic dogs and all that as well. But our pets become our therapists. If you think about it, when I'm down, Zeffie's there beside me going, like, she'll come over to me like, what's going on? You okay? And she may even put her paw up on my leg, or if I'm on the couch, she might jump up next to me and snuggle with me. But her idea of snuggling is turning around and around and around and then planting her butt against my hip and having her head at the other end of the couch. She wants her butt scratches. So that's her therapy, is to get up on the couch there and either get up on the other couch, because my couches are at right angles, get up on the other couch and just look at me. Or if she gets next to me, she just stands on there and goes round and round and round in circles, and Piney plops herself down. And there's a whoosh as she does that, because she just drops. And she doesn't, she only has short legs. She doesn't drop that far, but it's enough to push the air out of her lungs, and puts her butt up against my hip. And that's her way of snuggling. So they are therapy dogs, and they will listen. You can talk to the animal, to your animals as much as you like, and to your pets as much as you like. And they may make some noise back at you, but they won't come back at you with words. And so then you've got to, if they're making noises, like you're having a conversation backwards and forwards, it's sort of like, okay, what are they saying? And you've got to think, well, I just told them all of this. So they could be telling me this. And you're having this whole conversation inside your head of what your pet could be telling you. And then you go off on a different train of thought about what they could be telling you. But guess what? It's taken your mind off what you were actually talking about. So you actually get some relief and relaxation because of that, because you're having this conversation with your animals. Other benefits is I have to tell you, if I'm out of the room and I come back and Zeffy decides not to follow me and I come back in the room and that tail starts going, like, oh, there you are. I'm sort of like, oh, I've been welcomed back into the room again. It's a nice feeling. If you've ever had that experience where a cat or a dog will just stand there and wag their tail when you walk back in the room, it's just such a great feeling that you feel their love coming to you because they're greeting you when you come in and they're wagging their tail at you. It's a great benefit. Or even when you're walking down the street and like there's times I've been out without Zeffy and feeling guilty because I've left her at home. It's another down. But seeing seeing somebody out walking their dog and stuff, and the dog sees you and just starts wagging its tail. It's so much fun though. They're saying, hello, how are you? The one thing I do like about going out and walking, one thing I do like is that because I have Zeffy and she needs to be walked, I'm getting exercise. Sorry, I'm moving. We're using movement and movement. I'm moving, getting more. I'm getting more movement in. And even though for the last 2 weeks, though, she's been on short walks, and the doctors and the vet told me just take her out, let her pee, poop, and come home again. This one has figured out that as long as she can hold the poop in, we keep walking. Even though I tell her this is going to be a short walk. So I can't wait to get back to the long walks with her. We've got a whole park area out there to explore that goes for several blocks. And we haven't been able to do much of that because of the heat, and 2, after her surgery, we haven't been able to do those long walks. So I'm really looking forward to because the mornings right now are in the low 70s to low 80s. And it's absolutely gorgeous outside in the morning. There might be a breeze blowing. I tell you, after having weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of temperatures in the 3 digits as the high of the day, but starting the day off in the high 90s to low hundreds at 8 o'clock in the morning, or 7 o'clock in the morning, or even 6 o'clock in the morning, to going out there and it being in the low 70s to low 80s has been wonderful. And I'm just like, oh, I so want to go and explore the rest of this park. We've been to the end of the park at that end. We haven't been to the end of the park at that end yet. And so I can't wait for her to be able to do the longer walks, and we can take the time in the morning to go for those extra long walks and explore. So I'm looking forward to this weekend because it's meant to be nice on Saturday morning, and we'll get up and go for a walk in that direction and see how far we get. I know there's a road that crosses the park area, but I'm not sure how much further past the park area it goes, although it must go a while because this morning we went up to the road, which is about our normal walking distance during her short walks. And we passed the Frisbee golf hole number 5, the tee for hole number 5. And so there's another 4 holes in that direction somewhere. So, and I'm thinking, man, these golfers really get a good walk in when they're out there playing their disc golf every day. And there was a guy out there today, he was having a blast. It was 73 degrees out there this morning. And I said, man, you got some good weather for this. He says, oh, at long last, he said, this is making my game really good because apparently the heat also affects the flight of the discs as well. So I thought, oh, I didn't really think of that. But he said he's having a great game. It's one of the best he's had in a while. And so I'm like thinking, well, good on you, getting out there and getting it done. So there's that thing too, is that it helps with exercise, helps you get out and exercise because you have to walk the dog. The dogs need walking. You've got to take them for a walk. Some people, though, will just let them go out in the backyard, in the front yard. Yeah, no, put a leash on them and go for a walk. It's a great social thing. I have met some neighbors when I've been out walking with Zeffy. We've met some of the neighborhood dogs. I think I know more dog names than I know human names. Because usually we just introduce the dogs. We forget to introduce ourselves. So all I know is I see the dogs coming in and go, oh, look, there's Buddy, and there's Conchella, and there's Maya, and there's Marley. What are the other ones? Otis. You like Otis. Otis is hilarious. But there's some really great dogs in the neighborhood, and I know more dog names than I do human names for around the neighborhood. But you get to meet people and stand and talk with them, and then the dogs are sort of like, come on, we've had enough, and they want to go off and wander, and the dogs might play a little bit on the leash and wanting to get off the leash and run around, but there's no off-the-leash dog park nearby that I know of. Definitely not within walking distance. And that's the other thing. When you go to the dog parks and stuff, you get to meet some of the other people that are there, the other dog owners that are there as well, and just chit chat. So with pets being good for your health, it's less stress. They lower your blood pressure. It gives you just an it's almost like, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I think some pet scratches a day keeps the doctor away as well. I have to tell you, my puppy is like when it comes to watching, when I do movie tests and all of that, the only movies she will actually, she will sleep through most of the movies, but the ones she will actually sit and watch with me are James Bond movies. I knew I had the right dog because it was in November 16th, 2019 that I adopted her. And I brought her home that evening, and I did not do my James Bond movies that night. And I was in the middle of a James Bond fest. November is James Bond fest month, which means I got a month to find 2 months to find the DVD player, the Blu-ray player. And like the next night after I had adopted her the previous day, because I wanted to get to know her and let her play in that, I thought, well, let's watch a James Bond movie and see what happens. She laid there on the couch with her front paws out, laying on her back hip there with her front paws up like a sphinx, and stood there and just sat there and watched the TV screen the entire movie. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Every night I watched a James Bond movie, she would watch with me. If it was any other movie, she just curled up and went to sleep. So I have a James Bond fan dog. She loves watching James Bond with me. So that's another thing, is you have a companion that you can sit and watch movies with or binge watch TV programs with. They also make great alarm clocks too. Although this one, depending on the time of the year, might get a little lazy, and some nights she likes to sleep longer than others, and other ones she's sort of like, I'm getting up and we're moving. Sometimes she'll even wake me at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning because she wants to go outside. But she doesn't do that very often. She's only done it once in the last 3 months that we've been in the house, and let her outside at the evening. So that's been really cool. They always want to try your cooking as well. Have you noticed that? They have their way of sitting. They may not be allowed near the table when you're eating, but they find a spot where they're just on the corner of your vision, or in front of you, where you can see them looking at you while you eat. And there's that look on their face of, oh, that smells so good. Can I try some of it for you? Make sure it's okay. They give you that type of look like, I'm very hungry. Can you please feed me? She will sit off to the side of me when I'm sitting at the table. She sits off to the side. If I'm sitting on like the couch, she's on the cushion next to me. When I was in the RV, she would be up next to me, sitting at the table next to me, and she would sit there and look straight ahead while I ate. But when I wasn't looking at her, she'd have her head down like this, looking at the food. And the second I turned my head to look at her, she'd go, like I was not looking at what you were eating. But I have to say, she's been very good. If I've left food on the table, like to go grab my phone because it's ringing or something, or I've forgotten something at the table, she's very good about not jumping up and eating off my plate, which is awesome. Love that. She's been very, very good. Dogs, animals, pets, all the pets will give you unconditional love. And sometimes if you yell at them, they will still come back to you with their tails wagging as they say, it's okay, I'm sorry, whatever I did, I don't know. But they live in the moment. And that's one thing that with Zeffie I have learned when I'm being out walking, is do not have headphones on, because, excuse me, that distracts me. It's also a safety issue because I can't hear vehicles coming and that sort of thing as well. But I learned very quickly with her, if I had headphones on or earplugs in and I was listening to audiobooks and things, her walking, she's all over the place. She does not walk at side. She walks ahead of you. She's constantly pulling. She's diving off over here, diving off over there. But the moment I took my headphones out and was present with her when we were walking, she would quite happily walk next to me, or she'll walk just in front of me, but not pulling on the leash and not diving as much. Yes, there are some times when there's like lizards that run across the path and she's like, oh, what's that? And tries to go after it. And then she's like, stops and where'd that go? It's the same with the bunny rabbits. She does the same thing as well. And sometimes birds too. Not happy about her jumping after birds, but she just tries to hurry them along. So, pets have a lot of great qualities about them. And the other cool part is that it's fun to train them and play with them. There's all sorts of games that there are books and books and books and books about different games that you can play with your pet. They're actually learning things for your pet. They're learning tricks and stuff. We've got you got to keep them curious. You got to keep them engaged as well. And I have these different puzzle games that I have that you hide treats in there, and then she either has to flip a lid, slide a piece, lift a lid, or pull something to get access to the treat. And sometimes it takes her. There's been a couple that I have bought for her, and I've put them down on the floor, and she's boom, got it done within 2 minutes. And other ones will take her a while, and you can see she's getting frustrated because her paw just goes there and just goes. She's trying to dig because there's a slot that she can smell the treat. She just can't figure out how to get it out of there. And so that's always been a challenge for her. But when I talk to her, she's very attentive. Hey, sweetie girl. Yeah. She has these beautiful amber eyes. So my question for you is, what are the pets that you have? What are some of your favorite times with your pets? I will say another downside is that I do feel guilty leaving her alone in the house when I have to run out and run an errand. I always try not to be gone too long because I know in the RV that she would cry, and I had a camera set up in the RV and I could watch her. She would run up and down the RV looking for me and crying. And I was on my way home from a restaurant that was like 5 minutes down the road, and it's a two-way communication thing. So I had the talk button pressed so I could talk to her the entire ride home and just let her know I was coming. And I haven't set up the camera in here yet. I did find it the other day. Where did I put it? But I must figure out a place to put it to set it up in here as well, because it'd be interesting to see what she does when I'm actually out. But I have pulled out of the driveway and seen her face at the window, just looking out like, where are you going? You're not taking me. Where are you going? And in the RV park, I did have one of the back neighbors come to me and goes, not sure if you're aware of this, but your dog cries when you're away. And I keep thinking there's something wrong with her. And I says, no, it's just separation anxiety. I said, as much as I would love to take her, because of the temperatures, I can't leave her alone in the car. And I can't leave her in a car that's running because I can't lock the doors. If there was a way to do that, I would happily do that. But I want to make sure that she's safe, because safety first with her. They're like kids. They really are. So what are some of your favorite things that you like to do with your pets? What games do you like to play with them? Just trying to keep those eyes open. You want to go for a walk? Oh, yeah, we're going to go for a walk soon. We have to do it now earlier because it's getting darker earlier. It's 6:30-ish. In the next 15 minutes, it could be pitch black outside. But we have flashlights and we have reflective vests. Safety first. But what are some of the things that you enjoy doing with your pet, and how did your pet make you feel? Do they make you feel loved? Do they make you feel accepted? Do they comfort you when you're upset about something? Are they always there for you? Do they sleep with you? I have a king-size bed. Zeffie has half. I have the other half. And her bed literally goes along one side so that she's got room to stretch out full body length. But she typically stays on that. But she will get close to the edge of hers, especially if I've got my back in the middle of the bed. Then she likes to lay along the edge of her bed that's up against my back. So she does like to do that. But she typically doesn't come over on my side of the bed. We've tried, but no. She likes to stay on her side of the bed. She has her own little setup there. She's good. So what are some things you like to do with your pets? What are some of your favorite pets? What type of pet do you have? Let us know in the comments below. And with that is it for us for today. Tomorrow, I will be on at 7 p.m. Pacific, simply because I have a call at 5 o'clock that's supposed to go for an hour, but maybe 2. So we'll be on tomorrow night around 7 p.m. Pacific time. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. He konera.